Alright guys, did you ever, when you were a kid, want an animal just because you saw it in a movie? Let me know down below in the comments what animal you wanted from whatever movie, because we have all gone through that stage as a kid when we saw an animal in a movie and we're just like, I need that animal. I don't care if it's going to eat me. Anyways, with that being said, hey everyone, my name is Poisonblade. I hope all of you are doing well today. That question will have relevance later, but today we are building a badger habitat. So before the video actually starts, don't forget to hit the like button because it does help out a lot with the algorithm, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you want to see more. You might be asking me, Poison, how are you building a badger habitat when you don't have access to badgers yet? First of all, I'm not breaking any NDA, I don't have early access, so I really don't have access to badgers. I am basically building this habitat as a challenge, because this entire habitat is not based on the Planet Zoo badgers. Again, I don't have access to, so there's not going to be any Planet Zoo badgers featured into today's video. I am building a habitat for badgers based completely on real life badgers. So I spent an hour and a half just researching badgers in real life, like looking at different zoos that have badgers, which made me realize badgers aren't in a lot of zoos. In the Netherlands, only 2 zoos have badgers. Luckily though, because, I mean, they are zoos, they really give you like a detailed description, or at least most of them give you detailed description of like, hey, these are the needs of badgers, and then also showing how they fulfill those needs. I used a lot of like information that zoos that have badgers gave me. Then there were also some like groups that really like were all about badgers, and some just like also of course Wikipedia, because of course everybody goes to Wikipedia when they want to look up something up. Like teachers always say, oh, you shouldn't use Wikipedia as a source. You can use Wikipedia as like a starting place for like, hey, I need to find something out, I need some basic knowledge, or at least that's my like opinion on Wikipedia. So yes, I used Wikipedia, I used like groups that were all about badgers, and then I also used zoos which have badgers to figure out how to build a badger habitat, even though I don't have actual access to badgers. So I have to say this again, and I know I'm going to sound a bit like a broken record here, but you will not see any badgers in today's video. I'm just using this habitat or this build as a challenge to see if I build a habitat for a real life badger, if the Planet Zoo badger is actually going to like that habitat, to basically see how the Planet Zoo badger stacks up to the real life badger. And building this habitat was really fun. It's a shorter build because, well, it's a replacement build, because you might see or notice, well, you will notice because I'm going to tell you, that I'm only showing you this habitat from one angle. As I said, this is a replacement build. I'm building on something quite large, and if I turn the camera around, you will see it. I will give you like a sneak peek or a teaser in the cinematic footage where you will see what I'm building, but it was basically Wednesday, and then I realized I'm not going to be able to finish this build before Friday. I need to figure something else out, and then I thought, I could build something for badgers. I mean, I don't have access to a badger, but I can, like, zoos are going to have badgers. There's Wikipedia, there's going to be people who are all about badgers. There's information out there to figure out the badger habitat without actually having access to badgers. I could do that, and I usually build habitats a lot faster than actual buildings. So that already hints to next week's or Wednesday's video on being a large building. Also, this is like, I love this, but somebody, if I remember it correctly, Viva, mentioned or brought up to me that Planet Zoo ramps are actually not wheelchair accessible. And they basically said like, oh, a wheelchair ramp, like the Planet Zoo ramp isn't long enough, or like and then I looked up Dutch laws surrounding wheelchair ramps and was like, oh god, they are so right. And Planet Zoo is, because the Planet Zoo ramp is 1/4, which means for every meter that it goes up, the length of the ramp is 4 meters. However, according to Dutch laws, a wheelchair ramp should be 120, not 1/4, 120. Again, means for every 1 meter that the ramp goes up, the ramp is 20 meters in length. Thank God that Viva actually mentioned or brought up to me like, hey, the wheelchair ramps that you have built so far actually don't work because the Planet Zoo ramp isn't long enough. And I'm just like, thank you. Because I'm a noob, like I'm a complete idiot when it comes to realism. So if I ever build something that is like incorrect and I think like, oh, where I say like, oh, I think this is correct, please call me out on it, because I'm a complete knobhead when it comes to realism. And like, I want Eve Zoo to be wheelchair accessible and such, so I want to take those things serious. Yeah, you will see how I tackle the wheelchair accessibility next week, but that was just like, I wanted to mention that right now. And you will see the huge build that I'm working on that I couldn't finish for today's video. Well, today I'm recording this on Friday, you're going to see this on Saturday, but let's just assume Saturday. Like, I couldn't finish that huge build before Friday, before I needed to record the voiceover. So yes, today's video is shorter just because I had to quickly change. Oh, I need to build something else because this is not going to be finished before Saturday. Although I'm still very proud of how the badger habitat turned out. As I said, this badger habitat is completely based on like real life badger habitats in zoos, on like real life badger needs. It was really fun to build with like that information, and then also like trying to make it fit into Eve Zoo. So I basically used the go away green walls that I've built in the previous, like I think in the first episode I built these, used them as like the backdrop, because you don't really, like in my opinion, you don't really want to see where the habitat ends. You don't want to see where like the staff section is. And then the go away green in the background really works well with that. And badgers, well, they want basically sort of edge of the forest. Like they want shrubbery, they want places to hide. So that's the entire vibe of this habitat. It's just a lot of shrubbery, a lot of like hiding places, some fake burrows, because a zoo is never going to just, well, usually it's not just going to allow the badger to just dig or make their own burrow. They are going to have like some sort of like a pre-prepared burrow, because usually they will have like cameras in there, or at least usually like they will have like some camera to have like a live feed of like what happens in the burrow, because that's kind of interesting actually to watch what happens inside of burrow. But yeah, I basically made like a pre-prepared burrow and such, and that's basically all what today's video is about. But now I probably have to talk about the intro question, which was, what animals did you want from what movies, or something along those lines. My brain is like a goldfish sometimes. Yeah, it was like, what animals did you want from what movies? And yes, I was a weird kid, because I had a very let's just say Narnia completely screwed me over. Of course, like it's obvious, Narnia, I wanted a pet lion as a kid. I wanted Aslan. Even though I would have been his dinner in real life, I wanted Aslan as a pet. I also saw a polar bear in another movie, and I was just like, I want a polar bear now. But then the second Narnia movie came out. They did not have to go that hard on the animals. I wanted a badger for probably a month or two. I think the badger in Narnia was called Truffle Hunter, and then there was also the mouse, Reapy Cheap, which for some reason I remember the mouse's name, but I had to actually look up the badger's name, even though I wanted the badger a lot more than the mouse, because here's the odd thing. Why did I not want that mouse? Because the mouse in Narnia is adorable. I was 8 years old or 7. Let's make it me a bit younger so that I'm not that much of an idiot, but or lunatic. The reason why I did not want that mouse as much as the badger was like, oh yeah, I'm not going to get a mouse. Like, it's not reasonable to want a mouse. Yeah, Poison, it's reasonable to want a pet lion and a pet badger, but a mouse is out of bounds for some reason. But yeah, I wanted that badger because he was like, you know, he was the chill, like the wise and adorable badger. Like, he wasn't supposed to be adorable, but he was, because I was a kid. So any animal was adorable because he's fluffy and just small. Yeah, I wanted that badger so badly. And that transitioned into me wanting a raccoon, which I think is even worse than a badger. Like, I wanted a trash panda. Then, I think for a week or two, I wanted a skunk. Yeah, it didn't get better from there. I think after that, I wanted like a snake, and then I think I also, like, after seeing The Lion King, I wanted a hyena. Also a meerkat, but then what was his name? Like, it was Timo and Pumbaa. Pumbaa was the warthog. Timo? I wanted the meerkat, but not as much because I thought he was kind of annoying. But I wanted a hyena, even though they were bad. I also wanted Scar. But then I also didn't really cry at The Lion King, so I was just a weird kid. Here's another question. Did you cry at The Lion King? Because I didn't. Although I do have an explanation for it. I, as a kid, was very, how do you say this? Well, basically, I was aware there was a cartoon. Still doesn't explain why I wanted a cartoon animal, but I was very aware there was a cartoon and that it wasn't real. So I didn't cry about Mufasa dying or anything else in The Lion King. A lot of movies don't make me cry because I'm just like, yeah, this isn't real. So why should I cry about it? I'm not an emotionless monster. I'm a squirrel. So yes, that means I'm an emotionless monster. That's kind of chaotic. Anyway, that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed today's video. It is a bit shorter because again, it is a replacement build, but I will make up for it with the next video, which is huge, and you will see it in the cinematic footage for today's build. It's kind of a teaser or a hint towards what's going to come. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, there's the like and subscribe button. I again have to say that there's no actual badgers in today's video, but it is just sort of a challenge to see how the Plant Zoo badger is going to stack up to a real life badger. And with that being said, I have to end today's video, so there's also the notification button. But that one is just as broken and smashed as my dreams to get a pet lion. Anyway, have a wonderful day, guys. Bye bye.